And we're joined by Steve Bone, always a pleasure, but in the mood that we're all in at the moment, Pompey fans, it's a double pleasure. So, Steve, from trepidation to jubilation, can you talk us through your own emotions from pre-Middlesbrough to post-Ipswich?
What an incredible week, really, wasn't it? I don't think a week ago anyone was sitting there thinking we would be 6 points better off after those two games. I did have some hopes of us getting something at Middlesbrough, which I think I said on last week's piece. Just had a bit of a feeling about it after the late goal against Oxford and the way we rescued a point there. I thought we were sort of on the up rather than on the downward spiral. And Middlesbrough's home form had been a little bit dodgy lately. They'd had a couple of games where they'd gone ahead and then ended up losing. So I thought that we could get something there, and I was following the game on Saturday. I wasn't there, but I was following it and listening to it, and I was thinking, yeah, this is okay, 0-0. We might let a late goal in, but if we don't, then 0-0 is a great result. And it was about 5-5, and I was thinking, well, that's about it then. Got our 0-0, and lo and behold, we go and get a winner through thanks to Segacic's shot and Chaplin's deflection of it. Great time to score when you've been under the cosh, isn't it? 97th minute. So delighted by that. And then I still thought, I'm not sure that we'll be that fortunate against Ipswich, because Ipswich, strong side, going for second place, beat us up at Portman Road earlier in the season, although it was only 2-1. Didn't quite know what to think, but was telling anybody who'd care to listen that I would love a point. If offered a point without having to play the game, I would take it. And then it came to the game, and we've ended up with 3 again. And actually, I've seen a few people say this, and I did think for the first 15-20 minutes against Ipswich, I thought they were in control. They didn't particularly threaten us or worry the goalkeeper too much, but they were knocking it around, and we didn't look as though we were getting too close to them. And I thought, well, this could be a long night. This could be them teaching us a bit of a lesson here. But we gradually grew into it. Started playing a bit more direct, started knocking some balls through for Ali to run onto, and by the time we scored the first goal, you kind of felt a goal was coming. I thought we were the more likely to score by then, and after that, brilliant. It's got the second, defended so well when we needed to, bodies on the line again as we had at Middlesbrough, and fully deserved the win. So 6 points out of 6, no complaints, but we're not there yet.
3-part question. Can you put it down to anything, this turnaround? Part 2, if so, what is it? And part 3, can we keep it going? I don't think there's just one factor behind it, but I think the defeat at QPR was so bad that it made everybody stop and think, right, that we're heading for relegation. The players must have thought it. The manager must have thought it. They didn't. They weren't negative enough to say it publicly. Of course, a lot of fans were thinking it, and you could see why. Because we'd gone away to a team where we needed to get something. A team who had not a lot to play for. They'd had 7 shots to go and scored 6 of them, and you thought, well, it can't get much worse than that. So I do think that was that not just the defeat, but the nature of the defeat was a point where. There must have been some team meetings after that. There must have been some rallying meetings where John and his staff have addressed the players and said, look, you've got to get your act together now, or we will be in the League One next season. A couple more performances like that and we'll have had it. And since then, every performance has been pretty good, really. So against Norwich, not a great first half, 1-0 down, heading for a narrow defeat, which I don't think would have surprised too many people, and then we get the late goal. Oxford start well, goes wrong with the red card, looks like we're going to lose, late goal again from Dazelle, we rescue it, and I think just getting late equalisers sometimes in itself can give you a boost, psychological boost. So I think what we took into the Middlesbrough game and then into the Ipswich game was the fact that we got 2 points from those games where we might easily have got no points. And there's one player that I've seen mentioned by a number of people as having come back into the side and made a big difference, and it is Andre Dazal. I think he has been. I think he's played over the free kick that led to the goal at Norwich. He scored the equaliser against Oxford. He was very good at Middlesbrough. He was very good again the other night. It doesn't. He doesn't do the headline things. He does the unsung work. He does the hard graft in the middle. He does the sensible passes. He does the mopping up when it's needed to be done. He does the getting things moving again if they've come to a bit of a halt. It's 7 out of 10 every week, but I'd say in the last few weeks he's been more of an 8 or a 9 out of 10. And I think if you were going to put it down to one player more than any other, it would be him. But I think he's maybe inspired others to raise their levels as well. So you would hope now that Dazal stays injury free, stays in the side. Interesting midfield selection issue if you've got Dazal, Pack and Adams all fit and wanting to play. Not sure what the manager will do, but I'm pretty sure he won't be resting or dropping Dazal.
Can we keep it up?
I think so. I think if you look at the season, so many different teams have had a real dip in form that has made you think, oh, they're in trouble. They're going to end up in the bottom three. Leicester have had it, Blackburn have had it, West Brom have had it at the time when they came down to us and looked terrible. We've had it in as much as we've had it in sort of from the end of February through to March. That period where we've conceded late at Blackburn, we've lost a couple of home games. Actually, we've lost more than a couple of home games. We've lost 4 home games in a row: Derby, Swansea, Hull, Sheffield United, and then we've lost at QPR. And everybody will have looked at us and thought, "Right, they're the team. They're the out of form team who are going to go down and get sucked into the bottom 3." I think it's about how you time your revival, really, and I think we've timed ours quite well, in that we've started picking up points at a time where there is there's still a few weeks left. There's still games to go. We do need to pick up more points. Clearly, if the season had ended on Tuesday night, we'd be above the bottom 3 and we'd have stayed up. We've just got to make sure we stay above that bottom 3. I don't think Pompey are going to win all 4 of their last 4 games. We may lose one somewhere. I've seen a lot of people since Tuesday night say that the most Pompey thing ever would be to beat Middlesbrough, 4th place, beat Ipswich, 2nd place, and then lose to Leicester in 23rd place. That would be, you can see it happening, can't you? We must make sure, we're good enough to beat Leicester, so I think if we turn up and we're at our best, we attack that game properly and we're on the front foot, I think we'll be okay. I don't think we will lose it, but we're not there yet. But I've seen enough. I've never really been too worried about relegation. I've never really been convinced that we're getting relegated. I was a bit worried after we didn't beat Oxford. I thought that could come back to haunt us, but we've responded so well since then. So the team, the squad as a whole. I mean, you can imagine the training sessions this week. They must all be pinging it about nicely, laughing and joking with each other. Extra spring in the step. That must count for something going into these last 4 games. So I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, your instincts about these things are very good. You know your football and you know your Portsmouth inside out. Possibly better than anybody, actually, I'm going to venture to put to you. With your predictions, we'll get to your prediction for Leicester shortly, but you're often uncannily close, if not spot on. And I was thinking about your prediction that we were going to get something at Middlesbrough because you were the only pundit in town who said that we were going to get something at Middlesbrough, and of course we did. How do you do it? You don't sit down at a supercomputer, do you? It's instinct based on experience.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's years of watching Pompey. You kind of get to know which games are their sort of games that they're likely to win, and which sort of games are their sort of games to lose. And you can't always tell, but I do think you can. If you look at the sort of ebb and flow of a season, whether it's a season at the top or in the middle of the table or at the bottom, there's always going to be wins, draws and defeats wherever you are. And I don't know. It's a gut feeling, really. I'm not looking at the form in it. I'm looking at the form a little bit. Obviously, I'm looking at. I know about our form, and I'll have a look at, for this week, I'll have a look at what Leicester have been doing and what they've been doing away from home, particularly what they've done in the last couple of games. But I'm not looking in great detail at, how many goals, what Leicester's XG stats are or anything like that. I'm not a one for deep dives into this sort of thing. It's more of a sort of feeling from the heart about what can I imagine is going to happen in the next game. And it's very kind of you to say I'm often right. I think there've probably been plenty of times where I've been wrong as well. I wish I'd gone with my original instinct last week and said I thought we might pick up a little 1-0 win at Middlesbrough, because that's exactly what we got. But I think I actually said I think I might have ended up going for a draw, but saying I didn't think we'd lose, which was something. I've never got rich on doing the pools or the lottery numbers or anything like that, so I can't be that good. But I'll keep on trying.
Modest.
I didn't pick the Grand National winner either, so there we go.
No, and yet it was fairly obvious, wasn't it? Really, because it's a favourites race nowadays.
Yes, it's more so, isn't it, than it used to be? Yeah, there we go. There's one to remember for next year.
Yes. Okay. On to this then, the Ipswich game. Let's get your thoughts on those two goals, because they were down the opposite end, I think, from where you roughly watched the games, but you looked at them back. Let's take Shaughnessy's header first of all. He does it time and again, doesn't he? He's a really important impact defender at attacking set pieces.
Yeah, I didn't realise, but I saw somebody say that he has now scored 7 goals for Pompey. They've all been at Fratton Park. They've all been headers. They might even have all been headers from corners, I'm not sure. And 6 of them we've gone on to win the game, and the other one we drew. So that's a good little habit, good little sort of thing for him to have, isn't it? Real talisman in that respect. I've always thought when he's not in the team, we're lacking a bit of presence at both ends in that position. As much as I think Poole has had a good season and would currently be getting my vote for player of the season, I do think he's defensively, as a unit, we're better with Shaughnessy in there, because he's the one that's got the real sort of the muscle and the height. And obviously that counts when we have a corner or free kick of our own. He's up there, he's when he sort of trots into the opposition area, he's really giving them something to think about. Ipswich got it wrong in that they asked George Hurst to mark him, and he was not up to the job. I heard some talk after the game on the radio, on the local radio, that saying that if McKenna, the Ipswich manager, had studied what Pompey are capable of when Shaughnessy is in the team, he would have put his best defender on Shaughnessy. If Shaughnessy is our best attacking threat from a header from a corner, then you surely want one of your centre halves on him, and not George Hurst, who's not in there for his defensive capabilities. So we made the most of that little error by Ipswich. Shaughnessy, you could see from the footage that showed what was happening in the 6-yard box as the corner came over, you could see that Shaughnessy, as soon as that corner was coming vaguely towards him, he was very single-minded about wanting to get on the end of it. He wasn't going to let the opposition centre forward stop him, and he did get on the end of it, and he nodded it down into the sensible place, just wide of the keeper and wide of the defender who was on the post. So, yeah, it's an important threat for us. To have that from set pieces. Whether Shaughnessy's going to be up to playing in every game for the rest of the season, I'm not sure. We'll probably see a bit of him and a bit of DR, I would think. But good old Connor.
Yeah, and let's get on to the Colby Bishop goal then, which was perhaps more important for him than the fact that it made it 2-0.
Yeah, it's the sort of goal he's not been scoring this season, isn't it? It's the sort of goal he can score, and we know he can score. And this is not meant as to be any disrespect to him, but he's pretty lethal from 3 yards. But he's not been getting into those positions to pick up the little loose balls like that. I saw a number of people comment about that second goal that when the cross came in, Swift was in there.
even Pack was in there. It wasn't just Bishop in there, surrounded by 3 defenders, as it often has been this season. When the midfield players gamble a little bit and get into the area to wait for a cross coming from either side, it clearly it's going to occupy more defenders. It's going to free up a bit of space for Bishop, and sometimes that little bit of space, if the ball falls to him, is all he needs. And he's put it away, and he enjoyed it, didn't we? And I do think the crowd generally they've not been that critical of Bishop for his lack of goals. I think they can see that he's working hard. It's not for the lack of effort that he hasn't scored many, and they've been really wanting him to score goals. And there was a bit of a release of emotion from him and from the crowd when he got that one on Tuesday. You just hope it might, it's often the way with strikers, isn't it? They get one after a drought and then they go on a little run. So if he could get one against Leicester, one against Coventry, one against Stoke, and one against Birmingham, that'd be jolly nice. It would make his final total a bit more respectable, and it would make sure we stay up with a bit to spare. So yeah, good on Colby.
Well done. I think you've bookended that 72 hours, whatever it was, really well, and we will get to your thoughts about Leicester in just a second. But this, just to widen the conversation, this has just come in on our Pompey Sound Studio PC. We're a subscriber to an organisation called CIES, which is possibly the world's most comprehensive. They call themselves a football observatory, and they deal in data. Oh boy, do they deal in data. Now, Steve, their current thing this week, it's the best under 23 outfield players in the world. And they use a number of criteria for determining how good a performance is. And they go back over the last 8 games, detailing every bit of data. And they also then break it down into the individual leagues. So naturally we went to English League 2, which is the Championship, of course. And we were delighted to see that in their top 100, we have a Pompey player at number 4. Number 4. In the Championship's top-performing under-23 players. And I reckon, given a moment's thought, you can work out who it is.
Is it Terry Devlin?
Yes. I knew you'd get there straight away. He's coming along nicely, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He picked up a few awards at the club's end-of-season do on Wednesday night, I believe. In fact, I think he won pretty much every award going. I don't think there was one for best goalkeeper, but he probably won that as well, if there was. Yeah, he's just had a great season, and we've talked about him a number of times, haven't we? And rightly so. He's had a good season in what was not his natural position. Nobody a couple of years ago would have seen him as a right back. That's where he's been asked to play, and that's where he's got on with it. He's made that sort of number 2 slot his own. Defends well, gets up really well for somebody who's not the tallest. He's got so much energy going up and down the right flank. Loves to get forward. Swings in a good cross when he wants to. And he's very much part of the. I think he's one of those players you very much notice when he's not there. Because we do lose something, not just of him as a player, but his sort of passion for wearing the shirt. That's what the fans love to see, isn't it? He's popped up with a few goals. He's scored about 5 goals this season, I think. There was the double at Charlton, wasn't there? One I can remember at home to QPR, which put us ahead on Boxing Day against QPR. So he's got goals. He's got a couple of assists, and he is. You have to say he's our most improved player. If you look at even from the start of this season to now, or even if you go back and say who has improved since we first got promoted to the Championship, and you'd have to say he's number 1. There's a few others that have done pretty well as well. The worry will be, this applies to whether we stay up or go down. The worry will be, can we keep him, and will he still be here next season? A bit of interest from Wrexham, who have got money to burn. Probably be some interest from others that we don't know about. Don't think he's going to attract Premier League interest at this stage, although sometimes Premier League clubs take a punt on a good Championship player and it works out for them. But we all want him to stay here, don't we? And hopefully he wants to stay here. I'm sure he'll be offered good terms. I think he's on quite a long-term deal already, isn't he? But we might need to look at that and look at how we can tie him down a bit further. But yeah, fully deserved. It's great to hear he's at number 4 in that chart of from your stats people. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? That shows that it's not just us that's seeing something in him. It's not just sort of blue-tinted spectacles looking at him and saying, "Oh, isn't he doing well?" It's others as well. I go back to a few weeks ago. I think I mentioned it on here. After our collapse at QPR, I saw a QPR fan comment that Terry Devlin was the worst player he'd ever seen in opposition at Loftus Road, which I thought was a bit harsh. However bad Terry Devlin might have been that day, and I shouldn't think he was any worse than anybody else. That seemed like a bit of a harsh judgment. So pleased to hear that the real story with Devlin is how impressive he's been.
A very good comment. That person obviously didn't attend the game when I played in a charity match at Loftus Road, because I think I would have probably beaten Terry Devlin to that insult.
A long time ago, though. I'm sure you had your moments.
No, I didn't. Thank you for saying. Just out of interest, I don't know much about the 3 players who beat him, Terry Devlin, in this huge survey. Izahaku Fatawu of Leicester, Isaac Price of West Brom, and Tyler Binden of Sheffield. I've got a funny feeling they're forwards or attacking midfield players.
Don't know, to be honest. I know the names. I don't know much about them. It's interesting that 3 of the top 4 then are playing for clubs who are in the bottom 6. You've got a West Brom player, a Leicester player and a Pompey player, and even the other one is not playing for a team up the top. So that's quite interesting, isn't it, that under 23 players are being noticed even when they're in a team that's struggling. That's good. No, I suppose that means you've done a bit of scouting there for us, because if that's a Leicester player that is going to be playing against us on Saturday, that's somebody we maybe need to look out for. Maybe we need to match Terry up against him and see who comes out on top of the top under 23s in the league.
I'm just doing a little bit more digging into this data, and those 3 guys who are ahead of Terry Devlin, top guy is a winger. The guy in second place is an attacking midfielder, and the guy in third place is a centre-back. And they're all much more glamorous positions, aren't they, than full-back. Interestingly, they break down the best game area of each of the players. Terry Devlin's is air defence.
Air defence?
We used to call it heading.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what. It sounds like something something that somebody would have done in World War II, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Well, he is a good header of the ball, and he wins. He does win headers that he's got no right to win. I saw him marking somebody the other night. It was about a foot taller than him, and he still won a couple of headers against him at set pieces. So that's good. He's got a good leap on him. Got good springs in his boots.
Where do you stand on data in football?
I think you can. I think it's got a role to play, but I do think, and it's got a bigger role to play, much bigger role to play now than 20 years ago, and more so sort of 50 years ago, because it is all there, isn't it? It's all readily available. A manager can look up any stat about his own players or opposition players that he wants to. If he wants to know how many metres or kilometres the Leicester City left wing back has covered in his last 10 games before he put somebody against him on Saturday, then he can look that up quite easily. I do think you can get bogged down in it, and you can overuse it, and you can worry about it too much, and you can think that the data is going to tell you exactly what's going to happen in the next game. But football's not that much of a science. It's a chaotic sport, a contact sport where anything can happen. So I think you should use data. I think clubs do nowadays to try to improve their performance, but I don't think you should rely on it too heavily. I think you've got to trust your own players to do their own thing sometimes. You know, if you're a manager, you know what your different players' strengths and weaknesses are.
You know what they're capable of without looking at a spreadsheet of XG and all this, that and the other. So yeah, it's got its place, but I do think we overdo it a little bit these days.
Okay, quick sort of health warning, if you like, on this bit. People will be listening to your words in prediction of the Leicester game after the game, but you're still brave enough to carry on and do it. So well done there. But can I ask you what your feelings are about the importance of this match? Because is it 3 more games to go after this one? A win here, we're still not completely mathematically safe, but how important is it? A 6-pointer or a 9-pointer even, Leicester?
It's a 21-pointer. No, whatever you can call it. It is of the 4 games left, it is the most important one, because it is the one in which, if we win, we knock another team. We actually put ourselves clear of Leicester being able to catch us, so that effectively it doesn't relegate them, because they could still catch other teams, but it means that they won't finish above us, which is it. So it's that, when we're trying to finish above 2 other teams, that tells you how important that is. I'm going to introduce a note of caution and say it is very important not to lose. If you lose to Leicester at this stage, that gives them the chance to get a little bit of momentum going again. It would not put them above us in the table on the day, but it would give them a chance of overhauling us in the last 3 games. But yeah, no, a win would be massive. I think most people would think that if we win on Saturday, we'll be safe. We won't be mathematically safe, but we'll be well on the way to it. And I think if you were to add 3 points there to the 8 points we've got in the last 4, that is about what people were saying we needed, before that Easter period and the international break. So yes, it's a 6-pointer or a 9-pointer or whatever you want to call it. But it's not a must win. It's a must not lose, I think.
I hesitated before asking you this question because it's cruel, but if Leicester go down, will they have had the quickest journey from Premier League champions, or indeed Division 1 champions, into the 3rd tier of English football?
It must be close to it, mustn't it? It would be 10 years, wouldn't it? I think it is. Is it not the 10th anniversary coming up of when they won the title? I think it is.
That's quick, isn't it?
May 2016. That is quick. I mean, there have been teams that have gone down quicker from the Premier League to League 1 and League 2. Pompey did it very quick, but not from having won the Premier League to League 1. That Leicester will argue that they've not been helped by the points deduction, but that's part of football, and they've had to take that punishment. They've appealed and they've lost the appeal, so they have to get on with that. They have to like it and lump it. Their fans must be wondering what's next for them. Got some tough times ahead, even if they stay up, probably. But Pompey and Leicester have got history. Pompey fans still remember very vividly 1993 losing to Leicester in a 2-legged playoff semi-final in this division, in the 2nd division, as it was still called then. And they remember the offside goal that Leicester scored to go through to the playoff final. So there will be a lot of people willing Pompey to win on Saturday for reasons that are more than just wanting Pompey to be safe. It is that big.
I'm asking this question just out of interest, really. Pick your mind. Some people were surprised when Leicester parted company with the Tinkerman, who delivered the club their Premier League title. Do you think they'd be where they are today if they'd stuck with him?
It's difficult to say, because there's been a lot has happened since they got rid of him, and a lot has happened off the field with the different sort of owners that they've had. But I do think that Leicester at that time had fallen into the trap of wanting success constantly and instantly, and they made a change too quickly with him.
Surely you win the Premier League title at a club that nobody thinks will ever win the Premier League title. You deserve then to have a bit of time and a bit of faith to see what else you can do. Even if you go through a bit of a dip, you should surely be allowed to go through that dip and try to come out the other side of it. I think I've said on here before, man, I do think clubs generally these days are far too impatient with managers. Sometimes managers are too impatient with clubs and move on too quickly. If they stayed, they might have more success. But yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, or a bit under 10 years ago, that was a classic case of a manager being fired too quickly, I think.
Okay, it's crunch time then. Pompey versus Leicester, 12:30 kickoff, of course. And what do you think?
There is part of me that thinks we won't do very well against Leicester and then we'll go and win at Coventry, because again that would be a Pompey way to do it. But actually, I think for once we might have a conventional week. And I'm going to predict I'm going to give in a double header because we won't speak again before Coventry. So I'm going to say we're going to beat Leicester and we're going to lose at Coventry. So we'll be that bit closer to safety by the time next time we speak, but we won't quite be there. And I'm going to go for we've a bit more confident scoring goals at home again now after Tuesday night. So I'm going to go for Pompey 3, Leicester 1.
Wow. Oh, that's good stuff. Sorry, where are we there? Is that Leicester?
Yes.
And Coventry?
I'm going to go for an unlucky 1-0 defeat at Coventry, which is always what we see.
And final question to you, and it's apropos absolutely nothing at all, just pure football gossip. Is Lampard coming to the South Coast?
Is he?
Bournemouth.
Oh, I wondered where you meant.
Just gossip, just gossip.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of Championship managers being linked with that job, isn't there? McKenna, the other day, on the day of him coming down here, was being linked about it and was being linked with it, and I think was asked about it. No, I think Bournemouth will go. I think Bournemouth have probably already got somebody in mind, and it will be a somebody who's in the same mould as Iriola, and it will be somebody from abroad, might be somebody that we're not too familiar with in this country, and it will be that sort of type of appointment for them. I think that seems to be the way they've gone, and a number of Premier League clubs have gone in recent years.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you have the rest of your day back, as they say nowadays.
That's very kind.
Thank you for your time and your wisdom, humour, insight, the whole bit.
Thank you. Look forward to the next one.